going to remind you of 2 words not to use to describe your puppies to clients when they're 6, 7, 8 weeks old. It's just not accurate depictions of personality or temperament at that age. Number 1, aggressive. Now, I say that if you really feel like you have an aggressive puppy at 8 weeks old, that's a huge, huge warning. You should pull that puppy from selections and further assessment needs to be done. Otherwise, is the puppy just assertive, bossy, confident, pushy, not aggressive unless something is terribly wrong. So don't use that word. I have to correct clients a lot too. Not aggressive. They could be confident, assertive, pushy, bossy, okay? Second one, scared. I never call a puppy a scaredy cat or scared. They're still 8 weeks old. There's adjustable traits. And really until 16 weeks old, they're still growing and learning and shaping their personality. So words may be used unsure, needs reassurance, lacks in confidence, needs confidence building done in a safe and empowering way, and may take a little bit longer because we need to honor that they can't just be thrown into new situations. So enable, not empower. So please be careful not to label young puppies aggressive or number 2, scared. And if you feel that your puppy is aggressive or scared, this is a special consideration placement. You need to work with them. It's not one that should just go home at 8 weeks, especially with a novice owner. Here are 2 things to consider when raising a Singleton. I get this question a lot, and I do have a mini series that goes into depth about raising a Singleton to make sure that they're not only healthy, but they're balanced and fulfilled dogs, and they get all the skills necessary to be that, because there's a lot of considerations. Puppies weren't meant to have one puppy. Dogs weren't meant to have one puppy. A litter of one is not supposed to happen, but it does. And so here are 2 for sure considerations, but check out the mini series at badassbreeder.com, and I have a whole class on this. Number 1, they'll get overweight very quickly. They have no competition. They get the favorite and the best teats every single time. They can nurse as much as they want. That creates a chubby Singleton. The concern is then they have too much belly, which makes it difficult to get up on their feet. So a way to combat this, because we don't want hip issues or other health issues because they're just too heavy and they're not moving as much as they normally would. So you need to make it a little more challenging for them to get to the booby, if you know what I'm saying. I will sit there and intentionally keep moving them away from the mom and make them smell and find their way back. Move them back, make them just a few times. Just make it a little more challenging for them, and they can get in some extra steps and some scoots to help make sure that their weight stays down. So you have to enforce some exercise. Number 2, Singletons are known for not being the best problem solvers and getting frustrated easily, and that's something we can help them with to ensure that doesn't happen and become a lifelong issue. They don't have to problem solve. They don't get challenged at all. They get what they want when they want it and just become chubby little chunkers. And so, again, number 1, by making it a little more challenging to get to the teat helps. When they get a little bit older, you can roll up towels and have kind of an obstacle to get to mom. You can use your hands and kind of mimic. They're trying to fight for a teat, because when you think about watching 8, 9, 10 puppies try to nurse, it's quite entertaining, but you see how often they're getting pushed off, reroute, retry, try again. And that's building some nerve strength, some grit, some determination. And if Singletons never have to do that from day 1, we don't want puppies that have problem solving and handling frustration later in life. So creating some intentional frustration where they have to problem solve where they have to work on, self-soothing, where they know the world's going to be okay if everything doesn't go perfectly. So creating that kind of environment for them where it's a little more challenging, setting things up where it would be if they had a couple litter mates, So there's 2 just real quick shotgun style tips on how to raise a singleton. There's so much more in that mini series. Go ahead and check it out if you have a singleton. If you haven't yet, the chance if you continue breeding is you will have one at some point. So we want to make them resilient, determined, good problem solvers. We don't want them fussy and cry babies every time they're challenged with something and they fall apart. We don't want that. Let's talk about runts. Why do you get runts and what can you do? Here's what I found. The uterus is shaped in a U shape. So, it's really hard to say without the correct data. And, if we were able to monitor through medical technology to really see the placement of the puppies in the horn and then know during delivery which one's coming out, because they can alternate, or 2 can come from one side and one from the other. But it's in a U-shaped horn. So I have found what I feel one reason why you might get a runt is because even in a small litter, if you have 3 on one side of the horn and 1 on the other, you could get 1 larger puppy and 1 smaller puppy from the side that's sharing with 2 others. If there's 3 on one side and 1 on the other. Or if it's just a large litter, you're stacking so many puppies in each side of the horn. If you get more on one side, it just makes sense that then there might be a puppy that's smaller that doesn't get the nutritional needs like the other puppies, or have the space to grow like other puppies. So placement in the horn or the size of the litter could be a reason why you've got a runt. Another reason could be that there is an underlying medical condition, but we don't automatically assume that because it's just well known that the runt is a thing. Everybody talks about the runt. Some people love them. Some people don't want the runt. Lots of times we'll get clients that ask us their runt of the litter, and you're always like, well, is this a bad thing or a good thing for you? Can I ask that first? No, I'm just kidding. We're always very open and honest about the size of our puppies. We give them the birth weight and any other weights that they want, and of course the 8-week weight of the puppies. And at 4 weeks when we do the virtual visit, they get the weight of the puppy as well, because for some people that's very important. I will say it doesn't always determine the adult size. I have had runts, teeny tiny runts, grow to be big, large dogs, bigger than other litter mates that were larger at birth. So I do tell people it could just be placement of the uterus or the size of the litter, and it doesn't genetically have anything to do with its adult weight. It could, but it may not. Like, I always err on the side of caution when explaining things to clients, and I never guarantee anything. Just because this is a runt doesn't mean they'll stay smaller. I'll also say we raise these puppies a little bit differently, because runts do have and are known for the mentality of kind of being a little bit scrappy, if you say, a little bit of a pistol. It's because the minute they're born, they have been put at a disadvantage and they are in the fight frame of mind. I have seen that firsthand alter and change their personality at puppy evaluations, at placement, long term, that they tend to just kind of stay in this more frantic fight state of mind. So I have found to help combat that a little bit, you may not be able to completely, but even if we can help a little bit, I would much rather have a puppy that is a little less scrappy and stays in that fight state of mind about things, that kind of runs frantic. So we will supplement. We will offer a small puppy a bottle feeding once or twice a day. That's all. I still want them nursing. They can fight for their teat. I still all want them to be as natural as possible. But if I can help them catch up so that that calms the mind and calms their instincts a little bit, that's ideal for me. So we'll offer the bottle. 99% of the time a runt will take the bottle. It may take a few times, and then we'll just supplement up to 3 weeks or so until they start mush or gruel, or however you move them over to more solid food. We also then will pay very close attention and make sure when they're competing with the litter, continuing to compete with kibble, that they're getting enough. So we may feed them separately sometimes, or offer them an additional little free fill-up feeding to ensure that they're getting everything that they need. Most of the time I feel runts were just disadvantaged in the uterus. They got the bum rap of placement is all, and helping them catch up is really, really important. So there you have it. There's my take on runts. Of course, if there's an underlying medical condition, you may or may not be able to do anything about that. I always say if they're thriving, they're nursing, they're growing every day, everything's fine. Nature, unfortunately, takes its course if there is something wrong that we cannot fix. Thanks for jumping in and riding shotgun with me today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.